Yo, baby, we got a little surprise for all y'all right now. If you're thinking, man, I don't normally listen to this show, but I think I might be in for a treat, you are in for a treat right now because out of the blue here, we got a little special Jeffrey Ross. We're not talking like a guy from the Roseanne Roast. Yeah, he was there. We're not talking like a dude from the Charlie Sheen Roast. Yeah, he was there. He's at every roast. He's not just the roaster, though. He is the Roastmaster General Jeffrey Ross. Hello.
What's up, Big J? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling fantastic. I just realized, is it okay if I call you Jeff, or should I be calling you Jeffrey?
Just call me. That's all I care about.
Okay, good. As long as you're talking, things are going well. First of all, I want to know what is up with the Roastmaster General title. Like, how did that come to be? I mean, I think that anybody that watches the roasts knows that you earned it and you deserve it. But how did that all of a sudden, like, how did you just get that title?
I think it wasn't all of a sudden. I feel like it was year by year, joke by joke, just committing and killing at the roast. And I'm not sure who made it up, but there was a guy back in the day named Georgie Jessel. They used to call him the Toastmaster General. And he was really funny, and he would always speak at charity functions and roasts, and they called him that. And somehow it just converted to the Roastmaster General. So I don't know. I think it's a unique and fun nickname.
Yeah, well, and it's cool too, because then they like have to have you in every roast. Like, even if somebody didn't want you, it's like you can't just leave the Roastmaster General out. You've kind of just named yourself right into every roast ever.
Well, it's also these roasts are really hard, so they're lucky to have me.
Exactly. I would agree. I would agree that they are lucky to have you. Obviously, some controversy at the Roseanne roast. It seemed to go very, very well. Roseanne, I've heard some interviews with her. She said everything went really, really well. She had a good time. She was impressed. And but you are the scandal maker of this roast, it seems to be. Was there any issue? Let's start out by, for people that missed it, letting them know you showed up dressed as Paterno with a few scantily clad young boys in football helmets and towels along with you. Was there any problem on anybody's part, Comedy Central or censors or anybody, with that part of your shtick that night?
No, when I go up at these roasts, it's like a family Thanksgiving dinner for me, man. I just sort of have all my friends there and do whatever I want. Comedy Central has been really great about giving comedians a safe haven and an open platform to really sort of push their imaginations, and I thank them for it.
It's true. I'm obviously, as a morning show guy here in Billings, I get a lot of crap often because we're in Billings, so people don't hear words like crap and things like that. So I'm always getting in trouble, and I'm a huge advocate for freedom of speech. And I think Roseanne actually put it the best when she was talking about your joke that got pulled from the roast, and she said that she goes, the whole point of Comedy Central and why it's so awesome in these roasts are that nobody knows where the line of free speech ends, like when you cross that line. And she said these roasts are awesome because you get to go and find where the line is and cross it, just to prove that we have that freedom of speech. And you obviously crossed that line because Comedy Central pulled your whole Seth Green Colorado shooter bit.
Well, I mean, I don't think they pulled it necessarily for that reason. I feel like they put in the biggest jokes, the biggest laughs, not necessarily the most controversial or the most edgy. So, it's just one of those things that I kind of did for the room.
I see what you're saying. So it's not necessarily that you see it more as not straight up censorship, which is what I thought it was. I thought they were upset about the backlash and cut it to avoid any scandal. You're saying it might have just got edited out because there were better jokes.
I mean, in my opinion, my best jokes made the cut. And, stuff that's over the line or tasteless, sometimes that works, but, my style is just to try to make Roseanne laugh as hard as I can, and that's the fun of it, is you don't know what she's going to laugh at.
Yeah, exactly. I got roasted
sometimes
here.
A groan is as good as a laugh.
That's true. I got roasted here in Billings by a bunch of mediocre comedians and local people around town here. And it was fun to get roasted because, yeah, you get a lot of it's like, that was easy, that was that. And then occasionally, every once in a while, somebody hits you with an unexpected zinger that just tickles you right in the right spot.
You never know what's going to hit people. And you're trying out jokes basically for the first time in front of an audience because It's not like I can go out every night and roast Roseanne. So the stuff is raw and unfiltered, and that's also one of the most fun parts about it.
Yeah, and speaking of the raw and unfiltered thing, what's so cool is that a lot of people at a roast, it's stand-up comedy, you sit and write these jokes, and you work these jokes out, and you rework them, and you have fellow writers and stuff, but you are so good now and well-versed at the whole roasting process that you're doing, like, spontaneous, improvised roasts at some of your shows, aren't you?
I am. I speed roast the audience at my shows, and tonight on the Burn, I roast meter maids as they give tickets on the street. So roasting is no longer about celebrities and big fancy shows. It's also about taking it to the people.
That's awesome. I love it. So just the show, by the way, The Burn, premieres tonight at 11:30 our time on Comedy Central. So check that out. And the show is just you doing the Jeffrey Ross roasting that we know, but not of celebrities and just to random people around town?
No, not random. Always usually volunteers. I have Sarah Silverman on tonight, and my friend Amy Schumer, who was on the Roseanne roast, and a couple other comics, Ralphie May, J.B. Smoove from Curb Your Enthusiasm, and we just sort of get into the Olympics tonight, and we get into each other a little bit. It's pretty fun, man. It's a lot of improv and a lot of sort of roast-style comedy.
I love it. I love just the idea of it and watching. Anytime you get comedians together, I don't care how long these shows last, like Colin Quinn's show or whatever it was, but anytime you get a show with a bunch of comedians in one room, I think it's a winner no matter what you're doing. If you guys are playing golf or beating each other up or joking, like comedians together trying to make each other laugh is the funniest thing ever.
Well, then you're going to like The Burn, man, so that's great to hear.
I'm going to check it out for sure tonight on Comedy Central. This last roast at the Roseanne Roast, who do you think, in your opinion, killed it the most? Like, who was, aside from yourself, who was the big standout of the night, or the person that you thought, like, wow, that was really, they rocked it, besides Tom Arnold, because everybody really enjoyed him?
That was an amazing moment, but my favorite was Gilbert Godfrey, who just screamed about Roseanne being a monster, Rosilla, and it just crushed me. I was in tears, and so much so that we asked him to be the announcer on The Burn, and he's going to be on the show next week. He's just a legend.
That's funny. He is totally a legend, and he's so weird, too. Is that the case with, like, a lot of these comedians? Like, the more I learn about Gilbert Godfrey, like, he is such a cheap ass. Like, I mean, he goes to parties and stuff just for, like, free dinner and will then leave. And, I mean, he still acts like he's, like, a struggling, up-and-coming comedian doing, like, a Tribble run through Montana and Wyoming, but yet he's, like, an A-list comedian.
Yeah, well, comedians are sort of crazy, but he is the most crazy. He's an oddball, and I love him to death. I said at the roast, I said, you don't look good, Gilbert. You look like Benjamin Button when he was 6.
That is very accurate. I can picture it in my mind right now. This is a sad thing. Unfortunately, comedians are passing away like crazy. All of you comedians just love your cocaine and your booze, and everybody's dying. Who's next?
Who's next? Wow, that's a good question. I don't know.
My sidekick and I here have been, he hates Anthony Jeselnik, and so he thinks it's going to be him, but I think Anthony's funny.
Well, I don't think funny or not funny has to do with why if Anthony dies next, it's because somebody shot him.
It's not going to be because of his excessive cocaine use. It could be suicide after his breakup with Amy Schumer.
No. They'll be all right.
Okay,
hopefully, comedians either live to 40 or 100, and hopefully we won't lose anybody too soon.
Yeah, let's cross our fingers on that. All right, Jeffrey Ross, you can check him out on The Burn tonight on Comedy Central. Jeff, thank you so much, my man. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we'll do it again.
Thanks for getting the word out, you guys.
All right, see you, Jeff.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.